Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to be with you and to share the news with you. And, folks, Tim Walz is fuming right now. In fact, it's not just Tim Walz. I might have used him in the thumbnail, but it's Ilhan Omar, it's Amy Klobuchar, it's all of them because we happen to be right now in a meltdown of the DNC in Minnesota because they are losing their voters faster than they can shake a stick at. I reported last week how we already had lost the number of people to lose another congressional seat. Boy, by the time this is all over, folks, we might lose two. It is absolutely insane what's going on in Minnesota right now. We've got some great news on the number of arrests. So do me a favor, please smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from, folks. But also, in some other news, folks, something really good. And I just, Tim Walz is getting warned of his violations and how, well, things are going to be happening to Timmy. Let's just put it that way. Make sure I'm coming through good for y'all. I just want to check, this new studio. We've had technical issues. My daughter's doing a good job, but folks, at times I wonder, are you seeing me? So let me know if you're seeing me and hearing me well. Minnesota Rocks and Cows. Good to see you on, Jed Harding. Michelle, thank you so much for modding. Okay. Oklahoma's on. Philly's on. Ohio. It's all looking good. Here you go, folks. Listen to this. This just went down today. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, announced that federal authorities have arrested over 10,000 undocumented immigrants with criminal records in Minnesota since the start of the second Trump administration. Oh, praise. Oh, gosh. Oh, folks, if you wonder why they are acting like they're acting, if you wonder why Mayor Fry, Tim Walz, Amy Klobuchar, Angie Craig, all the Democrats are acting this way, look no further than this, folks. They see, here's what happens. All these illegals, even if they don't vote, like let's just say some of these illegals are too scared to vote. Now, there's a whole thing on that. I'm not going to get into this show, but let's just say they're too scared to vote. They are counted into the census. See, this is Democrats going to Democrat. Remember the text I shared with you the other day, Dean Phillips, former congressman, where he said, can't we just keep all these people here to mow our grass, to cook our food, to take care of our elderly? And right, he wants them to do the jobs Dee Boy doesn't want to do, folks. But they're all counted in the census. So this is that 3/5 person that they wanted in the South during slavery so that they could get greater apportionment and so on. But folks, they are getting shipped out of here. Key details on this, the recent surge, Noem stated that 3,000 people have been deported just from the recent surge. That is within the last 6 weeks, 3,000 of these arrests have occurred. This is primarily on the Minneapolis area, but you've seen it too in St. Cloud. You've seen it in Rochester and other outlying areas throughout the state. They're going after illegals wherever they are. It's just the greatest number happens to be in Minneapolis. In a post on X, Noem claimed these individuals were killing Americans, hurting children, and raining terror in Minneapolis while accusing Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Fry of protecting criminals. Folks, obvious that they're protecting criminals. Okay, I think we all got that. Deport Walz, Fry, hope in Jesus says. Okay. Oh my gosh. Agent Orange, good to see you on the stream today. But now I want to take you to a video. This is put out by Fox News. But in here, Elena Haba talks about what's going on in Minneapolis and who they're looking at in addition to the protesters themselves. Do you want to bring that up quick, Rebecca? What we've got here. Oh, I didn't put my ears.
Well, anti-ICE protesters, get this, storming a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, disrupting services to confront the pastor who they allege is working with ICE. And the DOJ says enough is enough. AG Pam Bondi, quote, says this: attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with the full force of federal law. If state leaders refuse to act responsibly to prevent lawlessness, the DOJ will remain mobilized to prosecute federal crimes and ensure that the rule of law prevails. DOJ Senior Advisor Alina Haba joins us now. Your reaction to
pause that for a second,
what
Rebecca.
the AG has said.
Okay, so we're going to get back here to Alina Habba, but understand this: do we have the right screen up? There we go. With this, you heard Pam Bondi's statement, but that footage, if you haven't seen that, that's from a church in St. Paul, and it's these protesters storming it. This is where Don Lemon, if you didn't watch my last video, you need to, because Don Lemon is cooked. Okay, he's trying to say one thing, but another thing is happening. This is after Tim Walz said that the Trump administration was going to raid midnight mass and all of this. So as you watch that video, understand that. So we're talking about not only FACE Act charges, but also the AK Act charges. Let's go back to that video, Rebecca.
And that is, we're going to investigate this. Is that the protesters or is that the mayor and governor for inciting?
That's everybody. That's everybody. The FACE Act is a longstanding federal statute that prohibits force, threats, obstruction, any kind of interference with a religious place of worship. And it carries criminal penalties and violations. And what the Attorney General is saying is the truth. She will come down hard. The Department of Justice will come down hard. Our Civil Rights Division will come down hard on anybody who tries to impede or intimidate somebody in a place of worship, or a police officer or an ICE officer. It's just not going to happen in this administration. And Pam is making that very clear.
So the mayor comes out.
All right, you pause that, Rebecca. So here's the thing, folks, and I just go, this is so funny. I got to read some of these comments. What's going on here? Kitties Never Die said, Lamont being prosecuted under the statute originally for the KKK would be hilarious. I mean, give Kitties Never Die a hand clap, because that's a good one. Spooky Cat said he's getting a new boyfriend. This is so let's go like this, Rebecca. Let's go to the next one I want to go to. Maybe we should just jump ahead here. Did we have next in here? No, let's go to the next post, the Stella X. This is interesting, folks. You need to take a look at this. This is she said, this is the most disturbing post I've seen from an elected official in the USA in a long time. Minnesota's Somali Omar Fatah, Minnesota, is attempting to create zones. By the way, he was up for mayor of Minneapolis. Okay. Is attempting to create zones in Minnesota where white supremacists are banned. Now, who gets to determine whether or not they're white supremacists, folks? You could just about guess. And apparently he gets to define who is and who isn't white supremacist. Okay. Translation: a hostile foreign entity, Somalia, is trying to openly conquer territories in the USA where all white people they don't like are legally banned. This is very obviously a direct violation of our civil rights, which clearly does not allow exclusion in any USA territory on the basis of race. When public officials show you who they are, believe them and remove them the first time. Let's go to these pictures here. So this is Omar Fatah, Cedar Strong. Okay, so Cedar, that's the apartments behind him. That's the Cedar Apartments. It's a Cedar River. I think it's called Cedar River. I used to live right in Minneapolis, folks. I lived on the Midway. I also lived in downtown these are close to the University of Minnesota. They actually, I think, used to mainly house college students. Then it was low income. And now my understanding is it's all Somalian. He says, Cedar Strong, white supremacists aren't welcome here. We protect our own. And then the next one said, this is a no-go zone for white supremacists. Okay, when David Marcus said, you don't get to decide who is and isn't welcome anywhere. We don't allow no-go zones. That was based upon some footage where they were dragging Jake Lang around the streets and telling him he couldn't be there, and that was a no-go zone. In fact, it's getting crazier in Minneapolis right now. I got to show you, this is Nick Sorter again, getting attacked by a mob down in Minneapolis. He actually having his camera stolen. Let's just play I'm going to just warn you ahead of time. There's a lot of cussing in this video, but this is pretty raw. Let's just hit it.
Hey, get. What did she just do? She fucking.
Oh, shit. Okay, it's okay.
She took Nick's camera.
Now look at Nick is not going to let this. Oh, look at him. He's a ballsy dude. Now she's dragging him along. apparently.
Just tell her to give him the camera back.
Okay,
What
so he
happened?
gets drug along the street.
They just stole my camera. Right out of your hand while you're in the car? That's the fuck you wanted, right? That's the fuck you wanted, right? That's what you did.
Pause it. I don't want to hear this guy. He just goes on and he just cusses like a sailor, and you can just about see. And they do these. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. They're just trying to intimidate him. But here's what's interesting. I wanted you to go to the next video, Rebecca. And this is the cops. So Nick called the cops because obviously somebody stole his camera. This is disturbing. I'm going to be real frank. This is disturbing. And I know some people on the Minneapolis Police Department, and there's a couple things taking place in this video that I want you to understand. One is the cops in Minneapolis don't even want to do their job anymore after the Floyd riots. Okay. Some of them are just putting in their time. And you need to understand that when we don't defend police, when they see Chauvin going to jail for 20 years and every other officer, the other 3 officers on that scene, all getting jail time, some of them who didn't do anything. Okay. We know for a fact that police officers are not going to be excited about going to prison for 20 years. So they're not going to want to be involved as much. The other thing is the city of Minneapolis doesn't actually allow them to do chases, don't allow them to pursue. So think about that as you watch this video, but this is disturbing. Hit play there, Rebecca.
We have a ton of calls stacked that we have to answer.
So what? I mean,
I don't have a time frame for you, but my point is you guys need to not be in this area.
Hit pause. You guys need to not be in this area. He's telling an American citizen that he needs to not be in a public area where he has the complete freedom to walk. Okay. And again, Nick's order is documenting in a public area, totally different than what happened with Don Lemon at the church. Okay. Totally different. I hope you all understand this. Everybody get the clear distinction here. Church, private property. They're going in and disrupting worship. Nick recording on the streets. Okay. An actual protest on the streets, recording it and sharing that footage. Perfectly legitimate, protected speech, protected freedom of the press. You all with me? Just make sure everybody's all with me. Okay. Now, this cop is telling him that basically he's the problem, not the people who stole the camera. The journalist documenting it is the problem. Okay. Let's hit play again.
I mean, I can't tell you have to leave, but if we're getting calls and you guys are harassing people,
we were.
But driving
we were
around is not harassing it.
We were the ones being harassed.
and 100%, that's fine. I'm just saying if it rises to that level, because they're saying you guys are.
Well, that's the
We're
other
getting
thing
a-
about us too. Is like we're journalists. Like people are trying to intimidate us out of here for doing our first.
I know, but
want to
we don't need this stuff to keep happening.
I get it.
The level
I mean,
of hostility, obviously, it's not. gonna
Okay.
go
Pause
away.
again.
I mean,
So, do you guys get what this cop is saying to him? The cop just doesn't want to deal with it, right? Again, we know what's going on in Minneapolis. We know how they back their cops. I'm saying that in jest, okay? So we see what's going on here. But the cop is basically saying that the problem is us for documenting it. So, in other words, you need to just turn Minneapolis over to the crazies. You need to allow them to do whatever they want, and it'll be fine. Give the toddler his sucker as he's screaming in the grocery store, and he'll stop screaming for a bit until he doesn't have a sucker again. Let's play again.
we just want our stuff. Like, I mean, it's.
And we're gonna work on that. We've got a very detailed report started
And,
here.
and also, here's the other thing too: is like if they rob us and then we leave, that just if somebody here comes here you don't like, just rob them and they'll leave.
Okay, but there's a process that we have to follow. Okay, so we take the report, we document everything that happens.
Sure.
It goes to our investigators, and they can dig deeper into it. We have the vehicle information.
Okay, let's pause that again.
That.
This is crap. What the guy is saying is crap. I get so frustrated with this. How many times have you seen people with American flags or people doing counter protests being the ones who get arrested. I don't care if it's Seattle, Minneapolis, whatever. It's happened in Stillwater. I had footage. I remember all these times. So don't they need to do an investigation? Don't they need to go through this process? No, instead they just arrest them because they're the disturbance, not the mass numbers of protesters looting and rioting, but somehow the people on the right are the disturbance. This is so frustrating to watch. Let's hit play again.
Very helpful. Okay. So if we see the car, we can go from there.
I'll try to get a DHS.
So we'll be looking for the car, but you guys got to do us a favor and stay out of this area. All right. We don't want anything else escalating to this point again. We got a lot of reports.
I mean, I guess
It's a felony versus them just not liking our.
We get attacked and assaulted. By the way, they try to steal my
Yeah, you are.
earlier, and we're the ones told to leave.
I'm not justifying
Just
what
keep
they
the
did,
peace.
but we're trying to keep the peace at the end of the day. And the bottom line is, you guys obviously aren't from the area.
But it's like if I'm a woman and I get raped for wearing tight jeans, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have been there. It's like,
But that's not what we're saying.
well, we're being told to leave when we're the ones who got attacked. I mean, it's like,
Well, we're probably going to look inside the parking garage.
Well, I'm just saying we want the people who did the robbery to get arrested, and not you guys.
Security asks you guys to leave. You have to
They never actually asked us to leave.
I'm just telling you, you guys, hanging around here is not going to help anything.
Circling the
There's
area.
plenty of video already of you guys circling the area because we've been getting calls on you guys. So
Yeah, we got
Which is totally legal, though. I'm not going to leave the area when we're being followed. So
It's like
that's
intimidation.
part of the issue. I don't want them. And I know if they think we're ICE, they're going to run red lights behind us. They're going to do whatever, like break all the traffic laws. I'd like to get back to the hotel, but I also need to not be followed to the hotel.
We would prefer you get back to the hotel.
Okay, but so that's why we can't just drive out of the area when we've got 5 people following
Unbelievable.
us and us and trying
Just
to block us.
unbelievable.
That's why.
I mean, it's so infuriating. But, folks, let's go to the next screen, Rebecca. Here it is. The FBI is now involved in the investigation of the Somalis who robbed me of my $1,000 camera and dragged me down the sidewalk. Let's go. We will not surrender to these thugs. FBI Rapid Response says we are on it. So it's not going to go well for these criminals. I think the most disturbing thing about all of this to me is we remember the weaponized Biden Department of Justice, and now we're relying on the Justice Department. Do you guys see the problem with this? So local law enforcement in Minneapolis won't step up. Now, before, if this had happened, you can obviously remember during the Biden regime how they responded to people on the right, okay, arresting people who had simply done sidewalk counseling at abortion clinics. By the way, something really cool happened in one of my last streams, and that is somebody commented that they had been saved. Their son had been saved through sidewalk counseling 34 years ago. So sidewalk counselors are really doing the Lord's work. But I had another really great comment on my show, and that was about how much money they had saved on Chapter. So I wanted to share this here, and you can see my husband and I saved over $4,000 a year with Chapter's help. Again, that's $4,000 a year, folks, with Chapter's help. And Chapter, again, is not big government. They're not big insurance. They look at all the different insurance plans and help you find the best one. The average savings is $1,100. So you just owe it to yourself to call them at 832-761-2660. Again, that's 832-761-2660 to find out if they can help you. Average call is about 20 minutes. They can look at the plans, find out whether or not they can save you money. Give them a call. My friends at Chapter have been wonderful for me to work with. They've been wonderful for the people on my channel. I get so many good comments about Chapter. Again, that's 832-761-2660 to talk to a trusted Medicare advisor. All right, back on to the next thing here. We have, what's coming up next, Rebecca? We've got that, isn't it? This other, my computer dropped the thing, so I'm pulling it back up. Oh, yes. This is it, folks. So this is the famed chief of police of Minneapolis. Okay, this is what's his name? Brian O'Hara. Okay, and Brian O'Hara is going to go on and talk about what's going on in the city of Minneapolis. Okay, so I want you just to watch this, just to hit play there, Rebecca.
Administration officials are adamant that this action that they're undertaking in Minneapolis right now is making this city safer.
Targeted, precise, pre-planned operations on violent offenders. That is a good thing. But I'm concerned.
Stop. Okay, how can he say this? How can he say this when get Neil to 1,000 likes, people? Real George is on. Hey, look at that, guys! Give everybody give George a hand clap. Thanks for that, super George. Yeah, smash that like if you would, please. Let's get this thing up there. Let's spread this out. But Brian O'Hara is saying that targeted enforcement is the answer. Targeted enforcement is so important and it's good. Then why doesn't the city of Minneapolis work? This is crap. Why doesn't the city of Minneapolis simply work with ICE on holds, notify them, let ICE come pick these criminals up from the jail? If that's honestly what the city of Minneapolis and O'Hara believe, why aren't they doing that? Why, folks? Give me an answer. What do you guys think? Why on earth aren't they doing that? Let's play the rest of it.
People in the administration don't actually understand the reality of what's happening on the street.
Chief O'Hara told us the city's 911 system is overwhelmed by complaints about immigration enforcement. What are you seeing?
Seeing multiple calls of people who have been subjected to tear gas, pepper spray. At least one case, a person was removed from a vehicle and the car wasn't even placed in park and it was rolling down the roadway.
Administration officials.
You've got to be kidding me. I'm getting to a point with the city officials in Minneapolis where it's like, what do you even say? I mean, first off, the reality is, again, if they held them at the jail, notified ICE, we wouldn't be seeing any of this. Again, look, it's not happening in other states. But again, like I shared at the beginning, 10,000 arrests in Minnesota. This is all about stealing elections, folks. It is all about stealing elections. And even if you don't think these illegals are voting, which is the easiest thing in the world to do here in Minnesota because they can get driver's licenses, they show up with their driver's licenses and they can vote. All they have to do is say that they are a citizen, and nobody's checking it ex post facto in Minnesota. All they have to do is show up with somebody who vouches for them. And a person can show up with 7 or 8 people and have them vouch for. I've been an election judge. I know how this works. Okay. If they are the head of an apartment building, they can bring in all the people from that apartment. What do you think's going on at Cedar Riverside down there in Minneapolis? Okay. This is just crap. Again, he's saying that the problem is ICE, not the criminals, not these protesters who are interfering with law enforcement operations. I wonder what Chief O'Hara would say if they were interfering with Minneapolis police operations. Because believe you me, they do. How many of you saw the Floyd riots when they were shooting Roman candles at the cops? Some of them were even firing bullets at the cops. I can't believe this guy's a chief of police. It's the craziest thing of all time. Anyways, let's go on to the next clip here with Harmeet Dillon. So this is the ultimate. If Don Lemon gets charged under the KKK Act, I tell you what, I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to throw a party if this happens. Let's play the video.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines to do this? All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
I mean, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time that I've heard this mentioned. This is an act that was passed in 1871, correction there, to combat the Ku Klux Klan and protect African Americans' voting rights, especially the Enforcement Act, which is known as the Force Act. So here's some of the information on screen. Would you mind breaking down for us, because we have just read the FACE Act and how this is an affinity to the FACE Act, an obvious and egregious demonstrable violation of the FACE Act, because they were entering a place of worship, harassing and threatening. We just played a video of a man, a bearded man, who was threatening to attack the Christians that were worshiping there. So it seems like an obvious FACE Act violation. But the Klan Act here, it is on screen. First time I've heard it mentioned. Can you unpack this for us, Harmeet?
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact, that you had sheriffs and you had law enforcement harassing the newly freed slaves. So the Klan Act is a law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights, to get together and conspire to violate the civil rights. It is often used against law enforcement, but is now used against others as well. So whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge. We, in the federal law enforcement parlance, call this 241 and 242. Civil and criminal conspiracies. And so what the Biden administration did is, if three grandmas got together to pray outside an abortion clinic for the souls of the people inside, and including the unborn children, they would say, oh, that's not just a violation of the Klan Act, that's a conspiracy to violate the civil rights of women going in there to get abortions. And so we're going to add additional charges and punish that more and make it from a misdemeanor under the FACE Act to a felony under the Klan
All right,
Act.
that's
And,
good. Folks, this is interesting. So, we go back to the time of the Biden administration and what they were doing and how they were utilizing and bringing the hammer of justice down on pro-life Americans. These people were getting 10 and 20-year sentences. I want you to think about that. For doing sidewalk counseling, for praying outside an abortion clinic, our government was counseling. Never. We were taught, we were trained as sidewalk counselors to just engage, ask questions, try to get information in their hands. Remember, it was the other day, and people were talking about like me going down there to the protests and how I was dealing with people, and you couldn't believe I had the patience to deal with them like that. And I was just like, well, what else are you going to do, right? Because love is the only thing that'll change them. You've got to engage with them, hear what they're saying, and then kind of show them how maybe they're wrong, and then actually love these people. There's no other way to do it. You're not going to now that's you individually. Again, the job of law enforcement is to arrest, to detain, to charge people with real criminal acts. Okay. But so we were just taught that as sidewalk counselors. We had to actually love these women. We can't come at it from a place of hatred. It just doesn't work. So that's what's going on. And those people were being arrested, and they were racking up as many charges as they could. Now we have actual violations of that act. And Harmeet is saying, look, we can move this from misdemeanor to felony charges too. We can do all that as well. So things are going to get interesting. I do want to mention my sponsor, MyPillow, folks. That's right, mypillow.com/lumberjack, or call 1-800-568-2865. Again, that's 1-800. No, is it 586 or 568, Rebecca? It's 586. No, it is 568. I thought it was 568. Yeah, I always get those two numbers confused. 1-800-568-2865. The mattress sale is going on right now. Mattress toppers, $99.99, folks, and free shipping with code Lumberjack, because we always get the free shipping because we're special. Okay. I mean, other people don't get this so like we do. We just get the best deals. And that's because you've been so supportive of Mike Lindell and his efforts. Of course, he's running for governor in Minnesota right now. So anything we could do to help him keep his company going is a good thing. The MyPillow mattresses, they're fantastic. My son got one of those this last year, loves it. And then the mattress pads, 25% off there. But again, on these big bulky items, to get free shipping is a big deal. And then when you need to stay awake, this is new. The Rev 7 shots with the stevia, no artificial sweeteners in this at all. And these are wonderful for me because I like going elk hunting. Okay. And I'm not going to carry big cans with me, but I'll carry this. So I'm really excited this fall. I get to use these for elk hunting instead of 5-hour energy, which I used to use. So that's what's going on, folks, at My Pillow. I want to share with you something else, and this is from Chad Catton on X. Welp, and just like that, the new Black Panthers are exposed. They were formed to fight the Democrats' KKK. Now they are doing the bidding of the Democrats who are getting charged under the KKK Act. Let's hit play, Rebecca, and see what this guy's say.
This sister right here told nothing but the truth.
I'm so pissed I could cry.
ICE agent ever run up on me, I guarantee you they won't. I put a hole in their chest the size of a window. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them, and it needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't gonna act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles.
The title of your organization is Black Panther. Not everybody Panther. You're going to get in the way of ICE agents from removing illegal aliens that are not supposed to be here, who are also taking your welfare, your benefits, your everything out of this country and taking it somewhere else. You got to be stupider than a bucket of shrimp. And you want to run around here talking about you are the Black Panthers. Saving everybody is not part of the doctrine.
All right,
of
you
the
can't
Black
pause.
Panther.
Yeah, the new and improved Black Panthers. She goes on, she gets so worked up. But do you remember during the last election cycle when the Black people were showing up in Chicago in front of Mayor Brandon Johnson and wondering, why are we giving all the benefits away to the illegal aliens? Okay, because they were not able to get the same amount of welfare. I mean, no matter how you feel, and I think people should actually just work and should be on welfare. I think we are debating the childcare fraud wrong, because the reality is childcare should not exist. I'm talking government funded childcare. I heard that woman in Washington State say the other day that we want to make sure everybody gets good childcare. Everybody has a right to good childcare. No, they don't. You actually have to make money to put your kids in childcare. It's not everybody else's responsibility to pay for your child to be in childcare. I mean, it's absurd on its face. The whole argument. The real problem, the fraud that is there, exists because we're paying for it in the first place, and we shouldn't be paying for it at all. Anyways, but folks, Minnesota, it's a nutty place right now down there in the Twin Cities. You know, I live way out in the country in Minnesota. I mean, I'm like off the grid. Okay, my driveway's over a mile long. I mean, it's like nobody comes back here. They hear the banjos playing. They think they're in the movie Deliverance or something, driving down my driveway way back in the woods. Yeah, it's Tim Walz is realizing, and the Democrat Party is realizing. See, Tim Walz, even though he's not running for re-election, he's concerned about his legacy, folks. That's what he's concerned about right now. And I don't even know why he's got a legacy. But again, please do go check out my Trusted Partner chapter. That number, again, is 832-761-2660, 832-761-2660. You know, numerous comments, people saving $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year on their Medicare insurance. You owe it. It's a 20-minute call. Again, not big government, not big insurance, an independent agency that just compares all those plans for you. So go check them out. Chapter 805. No, that's My Pillow. 832-761-2660. Thanks for listening. If you're new, please do subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you on board. We've got a great home of patriots here. Get those notification bells turned on. News is breaking all the time, especially out of Minnesota. And hopefully you like the new setup and what we're trying to do here to bring you better content. My daughter, Rebecca, is doing the work. I'm so glad to have her. Did you guys, yesterday I tried to do that one without Rebecca here, and somehow I connected to the Wi-Fi instead of hard cabling, and it was so choppy. I'm so sorry. But now I've got Rebecca, the superstar here, and she's running it and making sure everything is smooth and good and wonderful. So give Rebecca a hand clap, and we'll see you on the next episode, folks. Thanks for listening. Peace out.